And thanks to everyone again for joining us today. Again, my name is Olivia. I'm the Director of Business Development for SEI in North America, and Jazz, my colleague, is our pre-sales engineer. So just kind of briefly going back to the agenda of what we're going to be covering today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the challenges when it comes to data analysis and reporting in today's world, give you a quick overview in terms of what Sage Enterprise Intelligence is all about and where we are kind of in the market today. Jazz will then take you through an actual product demonstration. And then at the end, we'll just cover things off by talking a little bit about the positioning in terms of some differences between the Sage Intelligence product, which some of you may already be using and used to, versus our product, Sage Enterprise Intelligence. So I'll get things going by talking a little bit about some of the challenges that companies are experiencing today when it comes to their data analysis and reporting, starting with, I would say, the number one challenge, which is that companies are using many different sources of data and have a lot of volume of data that they need to organize, pull together to be able to analyze and report on, of course. And that can be a really big struggle, especially if you're not using a tool that's intended to help you with that and doing a lot of things manually. And actually more important than ever in today's kind of situation, that we're able to overcome uncertainty, deal with unexpected challenges, forecast certain things, and really be able to identify some key performance indicators in the business, of course, to better make decisions on accurate information. So all of that put together are some of the reasons why business intelligence has become such a critical component to the software systems within organizations today. And now we'll get into a little bit about Sage Enterprise Intelligence and how it can help and how it's helping our customers, of course, overcome some of those challenges. In terms of where we are in the market today, we've been partnered with Sage as a Sage branded product since 2013. We started in the Sage X3 world, which is the mid-market product for Sage, but we're super happy to actually just be released for SEI for Sage 100. Although we've been working with some customers in the past for Sage 100, we're now actually available under the Sage name through Sage. So we're super, super excited about that because a lot of partners and a lot of customers have been asking us for SEI for their data analysis and reporting. As you know, we're not a new product. We have over 2,000 SEI customers worldwide, more than 40,000 users. We have many partners representing this solution all over the globe. And again, we're available for multiple different product lines, but of course, today our focus is on your business solution, which is Sage 100. Sage Enterprise Intelligence is a BI and data management solution that is all about enabling users to make decisions based on real-time and accurate information to improve decision-making, but to also empower its users with a simple interface to access their information, slice and dice, analyze, create reports, set up KPIs, the list goes on, all independently and self-sufficiently. So getting into some of the benefits of the solution, and we'll go into more detail on the following slides, but things that SEI can help you accomplish. First of all, gaining visibility and insight into what's going on in the business, empowering users, as I mentioned. It'll also allow you to collaborate more securely. There's many different ways to share information with the solution. Seize opportunities today by gaining access into the real-time data of what's going on in the organization. And last but not least, it'll help you achieve quick ROI. And you will achieve quick ROI with the solution like SEI, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on in the deck. Starting with gaining visibility and insight, again, going back to those business challenges that companies are facing today, having all that data, all of those different systems, many different departments, SEI will really allow you to access all of the information that you have, no matter what system it's in. So we have many different connectors that you can use to access that information. Of course, you can access Sage 100, but if you have any systems running that are outside of that you want to pull together, SEI will enable you to do that. Another advantage of SEI is that it'll allow you to gain insight through multiple different interfaces. So you're not limited to just an Excel or just a web interface. You actually have the option of a web, fully HTML5 mobile interface as well, and an Excel component, which our customers are using primarily today for their financial data analysis and reporting. a little bit more into about what are the new modules that we actually recently delivered with SEI. Again, we're trying to really be a full-blown business intelligence and data management solution that pretty much covers all bases. So with one of our recent versions, we released the data sync or data management module of SEI, which will allow customers to do a couple of things when it comes to the backend data and really managing that data and pulling it all together. Starting with migrating data, it'll also allow you to consolidate information more easily, have different systems talk together and actually work together, move data as well. There's a couple of different components I'm going to go through, but I really want to focus on the consolidation. And the reason why is because I know that a lot of Sage 100 customers like yourselves may have multiple different databases, multiple different companies housed within Sage 100. A lot of the challenges I hear from customers today is how can we more easily consolidate all of those different databases or companies or whatever it is. Well, SEI will provide you with the ability to do that from day one. So the consolidation module of the data sync is aimed to make that process a lot easier. And again, you'll be able to do your analysis and reporting based on, each company or each database, and of course the consolidated version right out of the box. The other piece I wanted to talk about was the synchronization. And this is important if you have systems that may be sitting on the cloud. You want to bring all of that data together and be able to access it for analysis and reporting. That's what the synchronization piece of the data sync will allow you to do. It will also allow you to actually take a copy of your database and run the business intelligence solution on the copy database. So for customers who have really large volumes of data, huge number of users, they don't want to impact the ERP system, you can take advantage of the synchronization to replicate your database. A couple other things I'll mention very quickly: the migration for customers who might be moving systems from a legacy system to Sage 100 as an example. It'll help you bring in that legacy data. And then the export function is the ability to actually export data, generating a CSV text or flat file so that you can actually import that data into another system if you wish to do so. So again, maybe the last two might not be as relevant, but I did want to mention the synchronization and especially the consolidation because they're super, super useful tools. Getting on to the next benefit, empowering all users. SEI is super easy to use. You'll see when Jazz does the demo, a lot of dragging and dropping, really easy to create new dashboards, new reports, to customize things, to set up sharing options. Again, really, really intuitive. Even the Excel add-in, there's a very intuitive formula wizard and data extraction within that. So you'll see it is very easy to use. In terms of collaboration, many different ways that SEI can easily allow you to share information with colleagues inside or outside of the organization. We have a full-blown distribution module that actually allows you to set up reports to be sent out automatically to any number of users or non-users of the software. Recipients of those reports will be getting static reports, but it'll all be based on security settings. So if you're sending it to 100 people, you may get many different reports being sent out depending on the security. You can also self-subscribe to reports. We also have conditions that you can set up as well in SEI. So if my inventory is less than 100, send an email out to advise me. That's part of the distribution module. In terms of achieving quick ROI, and this is a really important one to mention, and one of the biggest advantages of SEI is the fact that we deliver so many templates, reports, dashboards right out of the box. So it's fully integrated with Sage 100, of course, and you're able to use the reports that come out of the box that have been created by obviously our consulting team and developers from day one. So whether you're looking for reports on finance, sales, you name it, we have reports pretty much for it all. You also have two ways of accessing information with SEI. Real time is one option. Of course, the ProvideX is a little bit of a different way, so there's a little bit of delay, but I mean, you can update that data every 5-10 minutes if you wish to do so. We also have data warehouses, which are really intended if you have very large volumes of data or want to consolidate different data sources. And again, those can be refreshed pretty often, every 5-10 minutes, overnight, really whatever your preference is. So I just wanted to mention that. Something else I want to talk about, and Jazz will get into this in the demo, is the fact that we deliver universal data models. So in addition to our templates that come out of the box, we have the universal data models, which are based on different roles within the company. So as you can see, finance, sales, CRM, and these are pre-built dashboards, reports, preset KPIs, again, right out of the box, based on the web, accessible from a mobile device. But for those of you who are struggling to get, your basic financial reports, for example, an income statement, a balance sheet, the finance UDM delivers all of that out of the box. The calculations are pre-done for you, and it's really a lot of value in terms of what it delivers. The other advantage, and the reason we have all those data sources on the top there, is that you can actually connect to any of those data sources, and the UDMs will actually work on those data sources. So of course, in the finance, there's a little bit of mapping around the GL, but again, you can actually pull in any source of data that you want, even combine it with your Sage 100 and run those universal data model reports based on that data. So that is it for me. I know I've already given you a lot of information, but for the next 30 minutes, Jazz is going to take you through an actual product demonstration, and at the end, he'll pass it over to me. But again, as Jesse mentioned in the beginning, if you have any questions throughout the session, don't hesitate to type them into the chat box. We will get to those at the end of the presentation. So on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Jazz, and he will get into the demo.
Thank you so much, Olivia. And if you could make me the presenter. Perfect.
I think you should be good.
Great. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep, we see it.
Great. Well, thank you for the presentation, Olivia, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. My name is Jasdeep, and I'm the pre-sales engineer for Sage Enterprise Intelligence, and I will be walking you through the product demonstration of Sage Enterprise Intelligence today. And like Olivia mentioned, the Sage Enterprise Intelligence is an application with multiple interfaces. So one of them is the web application, which is one we are looking at right now. Then there's also the Excel add-in and also the mobile component of the Sage Enterprise Intelligence. So beginning with the web application itself, I've opened this application within Google Chrome. You can also use any other browser which supports HTML5. And it's also available in multiple languages, and that's how the different templates are also translated depending on the user-based language. And then each SEI user gets a unique username and password, and there are different security settings that can be tied to each login, making sure the users logging in have the access to the right information that they should be able to see. And as we log in into Sage Enterprise Intelligence, we are taken directly into the main landing page, which we will see in a moment. So that's the main landing page. And I will quickly explain you the layout of the landing page right here. On the left-hand side of the screen, we have the command center, which comes with 4 different tabs: data models and views, dashboards, reports, and also a section called favorites, where you can create your own reports if you need to, and then save them right here. And then the first component here is the first tab is the data models and views. And that is basically the place where all the pre-built templates exist for Sage 100. So we have a list of different templates here: sales orders, accounts payable, receivable, and each one of these data models right here that we are looking at, if we expand them further, they contain the pre-existing worksheets that are provided out of the box when the template is loaded into your environment. So you can simply plug in the data and you're good to go using all these reports which are provided out of the box. Then another thing about these data models right here that we are looking at is that they are all pulling the data in the real time from Sage 100. Then we also have the data warehouse and the universal data model, more importantly, which is another set of templates which are provided to you out of the box again, which are based on the OLAP Cube technology. And this is very useful in the events when you are dealing with large amounts of data, or if you are pulling the data from not only Sage 100, but also from other non-Sage products you might be using, such as a CRM software or third-party software, which is online or on cloud. So all of that data can also be brought into these universal data models, and we have them available again for finance, sales, customer relationship management, inventory, and so on. Another big advantage of these is that they also come with their own set of pre-built reports and templates, and which further have the industry standard KPIs and role-based dashboards and reports, which you can readily use from the day one. So now let's go ahead and open one of these reports. I'm going to open an income statement report, which we find under finance. This is one of the standard reports that we get out of the box. And as soon as we try to open this report, now the first thing that we come across is a selection page. Now this is basically the set of different filters where we can enter the information for what exactly we want to see in this report. So I have entered the fiscal year as 2020, fiscal period 8, global currency USD, and based on the data that we have, it filters exactly on that particular data, and then we have the view on that data as per we filter. Okay, in this particular case, my selection did not match exactly according to the data that we had, but here we have the general layout of this report. So now I'll quickly explain the basic functioning of these reports, which is the groups, pivots, and columns. And there are different fields that can be brought into these sections right here. So the first one here we're looking at is the report level 1 order, which shows us the sales and expenses. And if we further drill down on that, we'll be able to see all the account codes, which is the next field here to the third. And then now we are seeing all the different account codes. And if we further drill down on any of these account codes, then we have the document numbers associated with that as well. So in terms of the metrics, we have the two fields put in the columns, which is report posting and the report posting from the last year. So this way we can easily compare the postings from both years and kept side by side and compare them. If you need more fields or if you want to customize this report according to how we would like to see it, no problem at all. It's very easy to pick any of these fields right here, such as account code. And if I want to see this income statement report just by the account codes, I can simply pick this field, put it to the front, and now my report would reload, giving me a completely different layout of this report in terms of the account codes. And if in case we need to bring more fields, then a toolbar here on the right-hand side, which exists, it has plenty of different tools, and one of them is the dimensions and measures. Now, this tool contains all the different dimensions that we can easily drag and drop into these worksheets. So if you want to bring in a time dimension, let's say fiscal year, fiscal period, let's just pick both of these, and then I can simply drag and drop them right into my worksheet. And when we do that, now we have all our fiscal years contained right here. And then when we drill down further on 2020, then we will see all the fiscal periods for which the transactions have occurred. Similarly, on the other side, the pre-built KPIs that I was mentioning, these are all the pre-built KPIs that we get out of the box. These are pre-calculated calculations, in fact, such as posting, last year, debit, credit, variance percentage, actual rolling 12, budget posting, actual and budget mix. So all these different KPIs are resting in their little catalogs where we can simply pick them and drag and drop them right into our reports. So just to give you a quick example, I'm bringing in posting rolling 12. And here we have the new third column, which is now appearing in this report. Another feature of these reports that I would like to highlight here is the integration of the images and hyperlinks within these reports as well. So here I've opened a sales report, which is invoice by customer and product. And here we are looking at the customer codes as the first level of drill down. Then if you drill down further on this, let's say FR002 is the company code. And then we see all the different products here. But right next to the description of these products here, we also have the images of these products. So we can hover onto these images to have a clear viewing of what exact product we are looking at. So that's a very cool feature, which is now available with the worksheets. And also right next to that is a hyperlink, which we can use to click on this hyperlink, there are settings which can be configured so that it takes you directly back into your ERP system, Sage 100, and then you can use the native tabs within Sage 100 to have more details about the product that we are looking at, like FIN004, for example, and you can have more details such as the shipment details, payment details, and so on within the ERP system. Another thing to note here is another advanced feature of these reports, which is the conditional formatting into these reports, which is possible. So here we are looking at a few icons in this report. These are based, and in fact, there's a business rule which has been set up to really highlight the numbers according to how they are defined. So if I go into my margin percentage, which is the exact column on which this conditional formatting has been applied, we right click on that, and here we see all those business rules defined. So if my margin percentage is less than 20%, it should be highlighted in red. If it is between 20 to 50%, it should be highlighted in green. And if it is greater than 50%, I would like to see it as a thumbs up. And that's exactly the same business rule, which is now prevailing all across this worksheet. No matter if we move things around, if we, for example, bring our quarters in the beginning or product codes to the other side, it still shows us those conditional formatting. So that's quite a universal feature across the whole worksheet. Again, with this, on the sales side, we have all these pre-built measures that we can easily use and simply drag and drop them into our worksheets. Then the next thing I would now show you is also how easy it is to create your own worksheets from the scratch if you need so. So of course, we have a great advantage to use these out-of-the-box reports from the day one, but in case we need to create something on our own from on the fly, then we do have that option as well. So for example, let's create a quick sales report. So what I do here is that I right click on sales invoice analysis, I click on new view, and then it presents me over 100 different views that I can use on how I would like to design my report, or if I want to pick something more as a visual tool, such as bar charts, line charts, pie charts. We also have the integration with maps, Google Maps, and also the vector maps for the rest of the world, and more advanced charts such as combination, financial, candlestick, waterfall, and so on. So I'll go ahead and pick a worksheet, since that's something that we want to build. And I want to show you how easy it is to build your own worksheets from the scratch. So let me just give it a quick name, Sage 100 Demo. And here we add the columns. So since it's a sales worksheet, I will enter a few fields that I would like to include in the report: invoice amount from last year, and also margin. There we go, invoice margin percentage. Click OK. And then this is the level of the grouping that we can define on how we would like to see the drill down on this report. So I will of course include calendar year, calendar period, and then I will also like to include the customer ID followed by product ID. That's it, a few clicks, I confirm. And then next thing I would see is that I will be presented with the new worksheet, a brand new worksheet that I created on my own. And then we can go and resize these grids to fit them to the container, change the colors of these reports, and the exact level of drill down, which is 4 fields here. We can drill down to that level of detail in these reports. Now, so far what we have seen is the ability to create these reports and also, of course, use the already existing reports, but then we also have the ability to create something visual out of these reports like we were showing. So I can go then into a vertical bar chart, and the exact same worksheet that we were looking at, it will now be transformed into a bar chart. So here we are looking at lots of different fields, but what I can do here is, just give me a moment. I'm going to easily, we have the same ability to remove fields, swap things around in this particular example here too. So if I want to see this worksheet only by invoice amount and customer ID, followed by the product ID. There we have that. There are more advanced features which come out of the box with the universal data model on the financial side, for example. So here in the financial side, we have the reports which are accounts payable and accounts receivable. And something which is very interesting about this reports is that they in fact come with the aging buckets. So you can clearly see from which customers there's still an overdue amount that they owe to us. So here we have the date chosen, transaction currencies, and if we drill down on that, then we see all the different company IDs. And then what I want to show and highlight here is these aging buckets. So from here, these are the aging buckets based on the intervals of 30 days. So we clearly see, so it has been over 90 days for this particular client who still owe us the money, and how much is the amount that they owe us. So that's, again, a very useful feature which you can use when examining your financials and keeping a track on the numbers. Then the next thing it comes the dashboards, the out-of-the-box dashboards which are available. So again, with the universal data model, we have plenty of different dashboards which you can use, the role-based dashboards such as Chief Financial Officer, Profit and Loss, Financial Performance, and then we have, of course, for the sales, CRM, accounts payable and accounts receivable. So plenty of different options for the dashboards too. I'm going to quickly open one of these dashboards here. And now what we saw before, we picked up a worksheet, we created our own, and then we changed into transform that worksheet into more visual. So those views that we create can then be put together, as we will see in this dashboard, and then they bring in the whole story of the business by being placed in the same page right here, like this one. So lots of different KPIs that we are looking at: performance, profitability, liquidity, operating income, cash to cash cycle. All these views have very important information when it comes to analyzing the business, the growth and the scenario of the business in general. And then on the top, we also have the different filtering panels that we can also use. So we have fiscal year, fiscal period. If I want to see this data only for the fiscal period 6, I can go and make that selection, click on apply, and then as we will see, things start to change on this dashboard just particular to that particular fiscal period that I chose in this filtering panel. Similarly, you can add company codes, site codes, even the ledger types. So it's you have the power to do that, to customize these already existing dashboards, and if you would need that. And for that, we have an option to edit these dashboards too. So when I say customizable, we will see here how each individual view comes into its own little window. So we can resize these views, we can delete them, and in fact, even drag and drop new views into these worksheets as well. So if I want to bring in accounts receivable report into this dashboard, I simply drag and drop it in here. And the next thing I see is that report included in the dashboard row. So very easy to use, a user-friendly interface, of course, and easy to pick things from toolbars, dimensions and measures, and drag and drop, change views, and put them all together to form these dashboards. I'll also go ahead and show you another dashboard based on the sales. And in this particular dashboard, what I would like to highlight is that the ability of these views to talk to each other within the same dashboard. So that means that when we make a selection on one of the views, it directly affects the views on the rest of the dashboard. So here we're looking at a sales performance dashboard with tons of different KPIs: invoice quantity, margin, the invoice quantity collected from the last year, costs from the last year, and then here we have this map for the United States, and there are different states in which we hover onto, we see what was the invoice amount collected from these states. Then if I want to see the data for particularly one state, let's say Washington in this example, I can add this state to my filter. And the next thing it does, it applies a filter on the rest of the dashboard. And now everything changes according to the selection that we made for the state of Washington. So all these sales numbers that we see here now, the trends here, these are only particular to that state. We also have the ability to jump from these dashboards directly into other views to have more insights into the data, to investigate further into that. So in this particular example, if I want to have more details about Radio Flyer, this product right here, I can link this product from within this dashboard and link it to any of the worksheets which are present within SEI. So I'm opening the actual versus last month. And what it is going to do, it is going to apply the filter on the exact same product which we were looking at, which is FIN 901. And then we have more detail about the customers who actually bought it, since customer is the first level of drill down we are looking at. And then what was the invoice amount collected from those customers, and what was it as compared to the last month, and what was the margin made. So all those kinds of details we can jump to directly from these dashboards while working on them. Some of the advanced features also include doing the forecast within SEI. So we have the ability to create our own forecast within SEI and then send them for the multi-level approval, which then, once confirmed and validated, can then be pushed into these dashboards as well. So here I have a quick example to show you for the sales forecasting dashboard. So in this dashboard here, just give me a moment, right? So in the universal data model, we find this folder called sales. And then one of the dashboards here is the forecast performance dashboard. And then in this particular dashboard, what we're looking at is the information combined together for the actuals and also the forecast, which in fact is created within SEI. So here we can go and pick the forecast name, which is 2019. It is already selected here. And then we can go and select a cutoff period. So if I want to select my cutoff period to be fiscal period 3, I can apply that filter here. And as we will see in this particular view here, actual to date and future forecast, we will see the first 3 blocks will show us the amount for the actuals, and the rest falling after that will show us the forecast amount which was created within SEI. Just like here, so the first 3 bars will be the actuals, and the rest of them, which are in the lighter shade of the blue, are showing us the forecast numbers. Something of course I would want to highlight here again is the fact that how easy it is to share these reports as well. So what I'm going to do here is to open one of the existing worksheets and show you the sharing and distribution capabilities that you get along with the SEI. So in this particular worksheet, we have calendar periods. Let's just get rid of that, and we put in the product stat group. Okay, I'm actually going to bring in my product ID, in fact. There we go. I'm sorry, this data is not the best demo data that I want to show you. So let me just quickly go and open another worksheet on sales summarized here. And keep in mind, when you are plugging in your own data, it is going to show exactly what your data is being held in Sage 100, and you will see exactly what is being entered into your ERP system. So here, this is a good example. I'm going to now, if this worksheet looks good to me, I am going to go to one of the tools which is called sharing, and it comes with plenty of different options on how we can share these reports. So we have one of the tools called export, and we can pick any of the formats here, which is either PDF, Excel, CSV, HTML, the preferred format of how we would like to share this report in. So we have that option. We also have the ability to send comment on these reports. So with that, we have the screenshot of the exact same report, and then we can pick up a marker and highlight the numbers that appear a bit not so good to us, for example, and then we can highlight them, send them as an email to our teammates, and then exact remarks that we create appear right here, which will be sent out as an attachment. It is also possible to schedule these reports on an automatic basis too. So with that, I have one of the tools here called Subscribe, and it gives us the options, and in fact gives us a choice to select how we would like to receive these reports, whether by email or simply saved on the network drive. And then we can add new recipients here. 2CC and BCC fields are also provided, and then we can write a subject, a description, and then finally set the schedule. So if I want to receive this particular report at 9 a.m. every Monday and Thursday of the week, that's all I have to do. Make these few selections and then click on subscribe, and then leave it to SEI to send out these on a regular basis as per the schedule that we set. And the reports that will be sent out, they will be static, or they can also be the real-time reports based on if you have the ready access to SEI, and they will be including the latest entries from Sage 100 database. So that's about the sharing and distribution parts of these reports. And moving further, I also wanted to quickly highlight the second interface of SEI, which is the Excel add-in. So here are some of the sample reports which I would like to show you, which have been created using the Excel add-in. So we have income statement, trial balance, balance sheet reports, sales reports, and also the dashboards which have been created. And all of this is possible using the add-ins button right here, which comes with over 20 different tools which we can use to create these reports. So one of the tools is the data extraction tool, which extracts the data directly from the database in which the Sage 100 data is being dumped into. And so we directly pull that in, and each one of these cells, so it looks like a big report to work on, but it's made very easy with the help of the formula wizard. So this tool basically gives us a new interface where we can go and select our data model, our field that we want to include, and even the operations that we want to operate on each particular cell. So we have sum, average, maximum, minimum, count, and so on. And then we apply our filters, whether it's going to be based on fiscal year, fiscal period, and so on. And based on these selections that we make here, our data gets populated into these cells. It's also possible to create multiple copies of these reports, such as if I want to create an income statement report spread across multiple fiscal periods or different departments or cost centers or even companies, it is definitely possible, and it becomes very easy with this tool, which is called the duplicator tool. So what it does, it asks us the data model to choose. So it's finance in this case. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to create 5 new copies of income statement report for the first 5 fiscal periods. And it will ask me from where should I pick the field for fiscal period. I click OK. And then within a matter of few seconds, we will see these 5 new income statement reports with the same layout, same formatting, but having the data for the first 5 fiscal periods individually in separate tabs. Just giving it a couple of seconds. So here we see that the 5 new tabs have already been created. The first tab showing us the data for fiscal period 1. Then as we move on to the next ones, as we see the data is of course changing as per the periods that we selected. So that's the power of SEI's Excel add-in. Also, it's a full-blown business intelligence tool in itself. You can create financial reports in here, your sales reports, using all these tools which you get out of the box. So now to quickly end this presentation, I would like to show you a sneak peek into the SEI's data management tool that Olivia mentioned in the presentation. So that's a data sync tool, which will help you bring in the data from multiple data sources. So if you are having databases other than Sage 100 and which you would like to report on that data as well, so this will be the tool that you can certainly use to bring in the data. So we have different sections in this particular tool here, such as connections, extractions, scheduler, and transformations. So going on to the first one, which is connections, it allows us to add new connections, both source connections and the destination connections. Source connections will of course be the ones from where we want to bring in the data from, and then we have the data destination connections where we want to dump the data in. So these are all the different connectors which are available right now: SQL Server, Oracle, ODBC, OData, and even web APIs that we can readily connect to and then bring in the data from them. Then we have the extractions, the ones that Olivia mentioned in her presentation. So these are 4 different kinds of extractions that we have: synchronization, consolidation to bring in the data from multiple companies, which is often the case in Sage 100. So you can bring all the data, put the ETL on that, and then push that data into the data warehouse, from where you can then use it to report on that within SEI. It's also possible to do the transformations on your data. So a quick example of this would be if you are pulling the data from multiple sources and your definitions are not exactly the same in those data sources. For example, United States has been defined in different ways in those data sources. You have the ability to standardize that definition of US as what we see here in the new value column, and that can be homogenized and then brought into data warehouse, so you have a much easier reporting of the data without any confusions. So that's it from my side. I wanted to wrap this presentation with the data sync module, and I will now leave it to Olivia to continue with her presentation.
Thanks, Jazz. Thanks so much. I think I just need to get the presenting back, or let's see. Yeah, if you could just make me back the presenter. Perfect. Cool. All right, so just a couple more things I wanted to go through with you guys. Talking about why Sage Enterprise Intelligence and some of the differences between our solution and Sage Intelligence, which you might be familiar with today. And perhaps after the presentation that we just went through, you might already be able to pick up on some of the differences on your own. But really the key difference is that SEI provides, like you saw, multiple different interfaces. So it's not just Excel. We have the full HTML5 web-based interface, which is accessible from a mobile device. When you want to take things to the next level when it comes to data analysis and reporting, so being able to slice and dice, drill down from whichever interface you choose to do so from, that's when you would take things up a notch and go to SEI. So if you have more operational reporting, reporting that you want to do on different areas of the business and on different data sources, perhaps that's when you would go to a tool like SEI. I'll just sum up, some of the key points as to why Sage Enterprise Intelligence and really the benefits at the end of the day. It's integrated with Sage ERP, Sage 100, which is obviously a huge help and a great starting point that you get with all the templates that come out of the box. It facilitates and improves decision-making by allowing you to analyze and report on the real-time information, change things on the fly, set up KPIs, share information when needed, so on and so forth. Because it's so easy to use and empowers its end users, it reduces the complexities and costs that are associated with gathering all that data, figuring out how to analyze and report out on it, and sometimes, you know, relying on others as well to help with that. Increases productivity across all departments by giving everybody access to the information that they specifically need, and it's scalable. So it will grow with your business. You can start really small and scale up. You can stay at a small level. It's really up to you and based on what your business needs are when it comes to data analysis and reporting. But at the end of the day, Sage Enterprise Intelligence is we're really aiming to provide everything you need when it comes to data analysis and reporting through multiple different interfaces, gathering data from multiple different data sources if you have them, empowering your users to do things on their own, really trying to provide that full suite of tools when it comes to a business intelligence solution. And these are just a couple of quotes that I've included from our customers, talking about how one customer shortened their month-end closing for their financials when they started using SEI. And another example of how, you know, the sales team, a different department, will travel with, you know, an iPad or an iPhone and be able to really easily pull up information on, you know, their customer sales when they need it. So again, that access to information when and how you want to get access to it. So I just want to thank everybody, first of all, and we'll take a look at the questions to see if there's any questions in the chat, and then we'll be more than happy, of course, to answer any questions there may be. So I don't know, Jesse, if you wanted to facilitate that, or I think I might be able to open them up on my own here. Let's see. Sync to any CRM or only sales? No. So the question was, are you able to sync to any CRM or only Salesforce? Really anything that you have, if it's SQL. I mean, we have a connector for Salesforce, which makes it a lot easier to bring in the data, but we can pretty much connect to any data source that you might have. So there's no real limitations when it comes to whether it's you know, Salesforce, Sage CRM, what have you, any system, we can typically connect to it. Perfect. So I think there are no other questions, but if anything does come up and you have any questions about SEI, about pricing, implementation, so on and so forth, don't hesitate to reach out to Jesse. He knows where to find us. And again, I just want to thank everybody so much for their time, for joining us today, for Jesse for having us on. And I hope everybody has a really, really great rest of the day and a great rest of the week as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.